Okay, I think we got this figured out now. I believe. Let's double check. Picture. See what it shows. Let's see if it shows me live. Yes, it does. Sweet. Okay. Anyhow, so most of y'all may know, riding on 3 Tennessee here, and a little update on the bike from Harley I got earlier today was customer care or customer service care that they're still resolving the issue or trying to resolve the issue, and that somebody will get back with me next week on the matter. And they thank me for my understanding and patience. Hey, how's it going, little cowboy? So that said, tells me that one, Harley Davidson's back order issue on parts that commonly fail on the M8s is pretty bad, because it sounded more and more like there's not a single part. They couldn't find not one part at all that they need to be able to replace on the bike, which camshaft is on back order till mid-September. I think they said that the lifters, they were on back order until the beginning of the month. And then I don't know about the oil pump and the rollers and the rest of it that they said later on, but they pretty much knew at that point from the dealership that there wasn't no sense of trying to convince me to just pay $1,400 for Screaming Eagle cam plate, and the tuner. So that said, bike's still up in South Dakota, JNL HD, Sioux Falls. I'm still down here in Tennessee awaiting information on back order. And so that's one of the biggest things I've got against Harley right now, is the fact that their back order on parts seems to be a massive issue right now. I mean, it's just one of those deals where it's constantly an issue. I had the neck bearing redone a few months back. They had to wait 2 weeks for back order from it. They couldn't even find a dealership locally that had one. Before that was the front bearings, which they just happened to have a set. Before that, it was the radiator. They had to wait for one to get. They actually found one in Atlanta. Was able to talk to the dealership in Atlanta to send it up, but otherwise it would have been on back order. So the thing with Harley I've noticed in the last 3 years has been something, somewhere, somehow, they haven't been wanting to let the dealership store parts. I've had several different dealers tell me the exact same story. Whenever they tell me, "Oh, we've got to wait for this part," or "Somebody, we got to see if somebody's got it," but chances are they're not, because Harley doesn't allow us to stockpile parts. So that's one major issue I've got against Harleys right now, is the whole back order thing. All this nonsense, all the other stuff, the woke stuff, nonsense, that's been around for a while now. I mean, every company's that's got any kind of government contracts or wanting government contracts has to go by it. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. It's part of the law that Obama put in office, signed into office like 2012, 2014, something like that. So, I mean, it's not like they got much of a choice. They have to be dipped into that pool somehow, some way, if they've got X amount of employees. So, okay, fine, whatever. The extent of how far they go, that's up to the dealers or the companies. Who really cares? Oh yeah, that it is for sure, long, but it is what it is. And I'm kind of wondering, Because for me, the last time I had the same issue, the local dealer, the actual dealership that I deal with normally, they actually broke the motor down all the way down back at 19,000 when all this happened, and sat there and told me I just needed a new motor because metal had gotten into everything. And when they sat there and told me that they found metal in the oil, down in the oil pump and everything else, I was like, well, okay, what about the cylinders? What about the pistons? What about the rest of the motor itself? Did you guys look at any of that? Nothing was really said. So I got a funny feeling before it's all said and done with, even once they get the warranty parts, they're probably going to still have issues. And if I still have issues once the warranty part's done with, that's going to be a hit on the dealership at that point. Not so much Harley, but the dealership itself. Because they just did basically what I think is the bare minimum to figure out what's wrong with the bike instead of tearing the whole thing down like what they do down here at Mountain Creek, where they'll tear the bike down. If they find something up on top, okay, let's see, okay, it's bad. This is totally bad. There's metal chunks here. Okay, where's the rest of the parts? Oh, can't find them. Okay, let's tear down the rest of the bike, the rest of the motor. Hey, how's it going, Zan? And see what else needs to be replaced before just making a phone call. Oh, yeah, by the way, you just need a cam and lifters, which that was originally what JNL told me, was I can pay them $500, get the upgraded cam, get the lifters, and I'll be good to go. And then about an hour later, the guy calls back and says, oh, my tech said if we do that, you'll also have to get a tuner, which is $900. But other than that, you'll be fine. I was like, okay, but let me think about it overnight, and I'll get back with you. He goes, okay, just let me know first thing in the morning. I was like, okay. First thing in the morning, I call. I was like, don't really want to, but if that's all it needs, no, there's no oil whatsoever in the bottom of the engine at all. Because the tech just got over to me about 10, 15 minutes ago and told me that you're not going to need just the camshaft and the lifter. You're going to need rollers, the oil pan, or the oil pump, and probably the cam plate as well. It's like, oh. He goes, because he found oil in the bottom of the motor. I was like, well, okay then. So what about the rest of it? Hey, how's it going, Moto? So long story short, as of right now, I don't know if they've bothered to look at the cylinder walls at all, or the pistons, or anything else as far as on the other side of the motor with the compensator and the rest of that junk either. The rest of all that. So not sure what the deal's going to be, but if I'm able to talk to Harley themselves, I'm just going to ask them if it's going to take that long to find parts or whatever, what's the holdup of just replacing the motor, considering that's practically what's going to have to be done anyways, is my feeling on it, because I got a feeling once I get the bike back, there's still going to be issues. I think it actually explains why there was so much oil in the catch can that I was asking Doc and the service tech manager down at Mountain Creek about how come it's filling up about every 2 weeks. I think what was going on with the lifters kind of sort of, I think it was caught by the catch can, just nobody really knew. It just seems kind of awkward. But overall, if I get the bike in time, I'm planning on hopefully doing some days at Smoky Mountain Bike Rally, which hoping to catch some of y'all out there, and then try to create a ride. One of the days that I'm off, going to do a ride, and pretty sure it's not going to be Tail the Dragon, because obvious reasons, but might do Foothills Parkway or it's a 114 with 78,000. Well, the motor's actually got 58,000 miles on the motor. The motor was actually replaced at 19, but the bike itself's got just under 78,000. Hey, what's going on, Evil? So, which from what I'm understanding, from what uh, one of the service techs or one of the guys shop down at Mountain Creek told me, he says they're good for about 60 or 70,000 miles, and supposedly they're supposed to start looking at the cams and the lifters pretty good to make sure nothing's going on with them. And they looked and they said they didn't see nothing wrong with them, but you never know with when you talk about internal parts, and then you had a few hot days out Sturgis, so not too bad. But Sturgis was all right. Didn't get to go out and ride around with everybody, no big deal. But still got to run into a few people here and there. Finally got to run into Rolling Throttle. Got to run into Hells, finally, for the first time. Hogged a few people, about 200 something people actually. But back to Smoky Mountains, if I get the bike and it's ready in time, I'm actually going to try to get around and get up there, get it, and ride it back down before it gets too cold up in South Dakota. Even my dad asked me, he goes, what are you going to do about the bike once it's ready? I go, if it's ready, I'm going to come up, get it on one of the days that I've got more than one day off, and come up, grab it, ride it back down before it gets, as long as the roads ain't iced up and there's too much snow, going to turn around and try to just ride it back and go from there. And so that's the gist of it. But as far as the motorcycle itself, I've been happy with it. It does what I want it to do. And it's been a great bike. It's just got miles. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the dealership's done all the maintenance works on it every 5,000 miles. So I mean, and it's a 19, which was I guess the first year that they did. They've got something with the RDRS system on them. Mine had that issue, but it also had the recall done, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you do buy a trike, and it's a used trike, especially now, it's between 2019 and 2020, any of the trikes, whether it's a freewheeler or a tri-glide, or even the CVO tri-glide, make sure the dealer's done that rear wheel recall on it, because it's for the RDRS system and it will lock up on its own. You don't even have to be touching the brakes. It'll just automatically do it when it wants to. Lucky for me, unlike for some people, it was when I was going around a curve and I was following somebody and we was doing maybe 30 mile an hour. When I went to go get back on the throttle, I realized, hang on a minute, the bike started pulling towards the ditch and the rock wall because I was on the river at the time. I just turned around, locked the bike up, and then let it come to a complete stop because there was nobody behind me, and just started back up again, and it worked fine after that. But I was heading to the dealership, told them about it, and they did a fix on it. But yeah, that's $240 million issue that Harley's having to deal with on top of all the other stuff. Because that court case, as I found out the other day, was actually ruled last week, Thursday or Friday last week. So, yeah, rather interesting time for Harley. But my main thing with Harley right now, and whether or not my next bike's going to be a Harley still or not, and be the Lowrider ST, is going to be how this back order stuff is handled. Because for me personally, Lowrider ST has an M8. I'm riding with an M8. And if I'm having issues every time I need a warranty thing done, and the orders and the parts are on back order, what's not to say something happens with the Lowrider ST that I get, all those parts are going to be on back order as well. And who knows how long the back order is going to be. I've seen them go as far as 6 months before on back order on some parts. That was what caused me to go up to Pigeon Forge, buy the part with my own money, and actually run it back down to the dealership because the dealership couldn't even request a part from that dealership, thanks to Harley. So I actually had to. They actually called, made sure they had the part, told the guy to hold the part, uh, gave them my name, told them to hold the part, and told them that I was on my way up there to get it. So I went up there and paid for the part, brought it back. When I brought it back, they turned around and discounted the receipt amount from my actual ticket from the warranty because they couldn't order the part directly from the people. So I mean, that's something that Harley done. So, which causes all of us more issues. That's all right, Lone Cowboy. It is what it is. I mean, it sucks because I mean, yeah, yesterday, today, well, yeah, I missed 2 days of work because of all this issue. Actually, last weekend because I had to wait on the rental company to get a rental car so I can drive it back down here to Tennessee. So, it is what it is. Just part of life. But it actually, when you have stuff like this commonly come around, and it's not just me, because when I was actually getting the 75K done at Mountain Creek, they actually had a trike in the back at that time waiting on back ordered parts. Something was wrong with it. Some sort of transmission issue, I think it was. Not 100% sure, but it was having some issue because I seen it and I was like, ooh, what's up with that? They go, back order parts. I was like, oh, I know that feeling. They go, yeah, no kidding. So, I mean, it's a thing. I mean, there's even been, I mean, most dealers got a few bikes in their garages that are waiting on back order parts, especially anything from 19 to now. They used to. That's the thing, Zan. They used to be able to do that when they did this whole hardwire, rewire, whatever the heck it is. They done away with the ability for the Harley dealerships to actually go to other dealers and go, hey, can we get this part from you? Blah, 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 blah. They can't do that anymore. It has to be within their set family of dealerships, per se. Like, for example, Mountain Creek's there's Mountain Creek, White Lightning, Southern Devil, Atlanta, and there's a dealership over in Alabama. All 5 of those are all tied together. And if Atlanta Harley Davidson has a bike in there that's needing a part, none of those 5's got it, but Falcon's Fury does. They can't get the part from the Falcon's Fury, even though it's an hour up, maybe 35, 45 minutes up the road from Atlanta Harley. They can't get that part unless the actual person wants to go to the dealership, pay for the part, bring it back to Atlanta, and then do what they did with Mountain Creek. That's their only option right now, and it's stupid and it sucks. So I know one of the reasons why back in 2021, when no, it wasn't 21, it was 20. Back in 2020, in September, when the motor went at 19K, part of the reasons why it took 2.5 months for me to get it back wasn't that they didn't have the motor, is the fact that they were waiting on a gasket for the oil pan. They couldn't get a gasket. And I called and asked around, and so did they. And the closest gasket at that time was out in California that they were able to locate. So it was kind of nuts. But if I get it back in time, I plan on being at Smoky Mountain Bike Rally for the days that I'm off. And I'm actually wanting to do a ride, meet up people there that are actually coming to that rally, meet up, do a ride, show them some other roads. I mean, if the majority of the people's already been to foothills, well, then I'll take them to another road that I know that I like that's close by to Maryville. Because there's quite a few roads that are a lot better than Tail the Dragon. I mean, it's a fun road to play on. Don't get me wrong; it's a technical road for sure. But at the same time, exactly. I mean, car dealerships car companies do it all the time. I don't know why, and even the dealerships don't even understand what the thinking was behind the whole ordeal, where they could not find or look and ask other dealerships for the parts. They can look them up in the computer, see who's got them, make a phone call, and actually call and see if that dealership will actually allow the other dealership to buy the part from them. But if they say no, there's nothing they can do except for send that person up to that dealership if they want to go up there, buy the part, and then bring it back to them. I mean, it's insane what the dealerships are being forced to do. And a lot of it's driven by Harley. It's not so much dealerships as much as it is Harley. Because I've had the issue at Black Hills Harley Davidson the first year at Sturgis when the radiator went out. They tried to tell me it wasn't going to be covered under warranty, and I told them the wrong answer. They're like, well, we're going to have the bike all day. I was like, that's fine. I don't care. Just get it fixed. I can care less. Because I didn't want anything else to void any other warranty at that point because the bike was still practically brand new. But, yeah, it is what it is. But overall, kind of sort of down a little, quite a bit, with the bike not being here. But, yeah, I'll be all right. It is what it is. Hopefully everybody's been out having fun and out riding. And construction on 64/70 sucks coming out and into St. Louis. I will say that. I feel sorry for you guys and that has to ride that to get into St. Louis. Because that area just, that wasn't fun at all. But it wasn't too bad. At least I managed to catch it before rush hour got through there on the way back. But as far as next year, I'm hoping that I'll be able to medically retire before the rally season starts. And if it does, I'll be at Daytona. I'll be at quite a few different ones next year for sure. Wanting to go back to Hog Rock. I'd like to go back in October, but ain't gonna be able to. But so, what's everybody been doing? How's everybody been doing? How's everybody else been handling the stuff going on? What's everybody else's thoughts? Are y'all buying the whole letter situation? I know for myself personally, I just see it as the Bud Light ordeal where they're trying to calm everybody to keep everybody from getting too upset. But I don't think they understand it's too little too late already. Oh God, yes. That stretch sucks. And I don't get why they don't make it a 6-lane, 3 lanes on each side. I really don't, because you get so many people that are doing 5 under the speed limit, literally. Not even doing the speed limit in the fast lane. They sit there. They tie up and bunk up traffic big time. That's definite on 70. That's one thing I always dread. On my trip to Sturgis and back is 70. 29, 64, 57, 24 is not all that bad at all. Even 40 is not. But that stretch of 70 sucks. But it still beats having to go all the way to Chicago. Just saying. It's a joke. Right, Evil? I'm thinking they're trying to figure out exactly how far it's going to have to go before things or I think they're realizing people are ready for him to be gone. Yeah, I seen that video last night. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are upset about it, but the thing is most people don't understand is these bigger companies, they have to go by that law. There was a law signed during Obama's years that was put into place that started making them force them to dip into the pool. They didn't have a choice. They had to do it, especially those that wanted those that have federal contracts. Even at work, I work for the federal government. I work for TVA. Even we had to do the freaking DEI crap. We were just like, all of us were just horse laughing through the entire class. And the guy that was giving the class, so we felt sorry for him. But at the same time, though, hey, it was his fault. He kept doing the same stuff over and over again. Ah, they are. Okay. Okay, so that's what the construction zones are all about. That are up around through some of the towns, at least. That's good. Yeah, I did. I seen that earlier today. It's freaking ridiculous. 43 million, and we're supposed to bow down to them, and it's our fault that the whole outrage is what it is. Oh, please, nah, it's all on them at this point, especially him. I'm sorry, but compare yourself to somebody that to a group that we've been fighting for 10 plus years, 20 years. Yeah, that's a slap in every American's face when he done that. Don't make a difference you ride a bike or not. Oh, does she? No. And then you still got, what was it? Let's see, them, Obama, Ishi, Michelle, um, coming out saying everyone needs to share their wealth. Okay, I'll do it when they start. Until I actually see them doing it, ain't no way. Like they got room to talk. I love the way how the wealthy think they can sit there and run their mouth like they do, and yet here we are scraping paycheck to paycheck. They want to sit there and try telling all of us that are working, oh, you guys got to spread your wealth. Nah, you first. Once they do it, then I'll think about it. But until then, no. But I did actually, I will say, one of the bikes that I'm actually considering after I sat on it, and from what I understand, Daytona Bike Week next year, from what the guy told me, they're planning on having enough of them down there to actually be able to take them on demo rides. That's the Buells. Their adventure sport or touring sport or whatever it is, their touring bike. They're supposed to have, supposedly from what he was saying, they're trying to get enough of them made to where they can actually have demos next year at Daytona for them. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. The Zap bike, oh my God, it weighs less than a Sports Dress does. I actually sat on it on the one that they had up at the Black Hills Harley Davidson this year, and that thing was light. Exactly. Ain't none of them really ride, and none of them really have much to do with motorcycles at all. So it's gonna blow up in their face if they don't freaking do something quick. And I think they're starting to realize that, and I think they're kind of sort of scared. Because I even watched the quarterly thing where he sat there and did a thing where he's seen where Fox tried to get, they contacted all the board members and not a single one would make a comment. They wouldn't even answer the phone. Ah, okay. Yeah, that voice to text kind of sort of messes up from time to time. That's for sure. Totally understand that, Lone. But you stay safe out there driving. Heck, it's been crazy out there lately. But so So I'm hoping to have the bike back in time for Smoky Mountain. Because, yeah, I'll go crazy otherwise. And I might just get the nerve up. If I hit 100% before I get the bike back, I might just get the nerve to just go visit an Indian dealer or the Buell dealer. See what they got and go out for a test ride. Just saying. Because if Harley can't do any better than what they're doing right now, then I don't know. Because I know once the bike's paid for, a lot of the stuff on the motor's getting changed out. Plain and simple. It won't have the factory casted parts. It'll actually have machine cut parts instead of the casted aluminum and all the other cheap parts that Harley's got in their bikes right now. I mean, they're already making the intakes or the intake part plastic. I changed that out to the metal because mine was actually getting a little bit of a leak in it because it was getting brittle, being hot and cold so much. So we took that out, replaced it, put a Screaming Eagle aluminum one in anyways. May actually take that off and turn around and polish it up a little bit. Might help a lot. But overall, it's been an eye-opening experience. So, just figured I'd go live for a little bit, talk to y'all. If anybody showed up, I'm glad all 6 of y'all did. Seems to be the typical number. Typical people too. Almost everybody's the same people that always shows up on the lives when I'm on the bike. On the bike even, so that's cool. But I did get out pictures as far as videos from Sturgis. I haven't even looked at them yet, to be honest. Oh yeah, Evil. How's the Goldwing going? By the way, how's your trike going? I know you said you're supposed to be getting it back sometime this week, supposedly. Are you still there, Evil? I know he said it was still in the shop the other day. What was it, Sunday or Monday? Monday. Monday he said it was in the shop, but they were supposed to be getting a chain or something in this week, supposedly. I think is what he said. So hopefully they got it fixed for him. He's got his bike back. Dang, that sucks, Evil. Oh, sweet. Came in a tune for next string. There you go. Yeah, once the bike's paid off, middle of next year, I'll start looking into doing some stuff to the motor and everything else. I've just been trying to keep it stocked for the time being because of warranty, extended warranty issues and stuff, plus the fact of still having issues, as we can tell. It's easier to pay $50 a shot instead of a couple of grand. So that's the only reason why mine's still stocked. I mean, it came close to getting a cam upgrade 2 weeks ago. Just saying. Because I was fit. I was fit to be tied, to say the least. And they sat there and told me, "Oh, it's going to be a month and a half before you get your bike back." No, I don't think so. So, yeah. But glad to see that everybody, that for the most part, everybody that went to Sturgis got to go back to the house and went in the same shape that they got it. They went in. I think there was a couple that had issues. The chip this year was rowdy as can be. I will say that. I'm not too fond of everything that was going on at the chip this year. Exactly. I mean, if they knew they were going to have to be replacing them, why did they not order them then? Why wait? That's stupid. That just adds more delay. Which, I mean, customer service, I felt sorry in a way for the guy that answered the phone because he kind of sort of got the brunt of everything. I mean, I sat there and told him, I was telling him, I'm extremely unhappy with Harley right now. And I go, it ain't got nothing to do with any of this crap. I go, I've had issues with Harley now for about a few months. That's before all this stuff came out. I go, every time something's not needed worked on that's been warranty related, the part has been on back order. I go, this time it took the icing on the cake because it's actually got me stranded 1,000+ miles away from the house. And I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to make it to my dad's place. So, yeah, it was pretty rough because it actually acted up in Chamberlain, which is 200 miles. I was pretty much almost in the middle of the state where it didn't make a difference. I could either rode back to Sturgis and stuck there for a week and a half trying to deal with Black Hills Harley Davidson, trying to get a rental and all that other stuff, and then have to figure out where the heck I'm going to stay at for that week while I'm waiting and all that, or head over towards my dad's on the other side of the end of the state in Sioux Falls. So I was just like, and so I called Mountain Creek and I told shop service manager, and I go, look, it's making a racket. It's running. It's not throwing any lights. It's running, but it's making a racket. I go, he goes, how close are you to a dealership? I go, I'm about 200 miles either direction. He goes, there's no lights? I go, no lights. He goes, you're 200 miles either direction. He goes, it's not, he goes, they're not even going to come get the tow. They're not even, he goes, neither dealerships can even come tell you where you're at. He goes, so, he goes, if there ain't no engine lights, he goes, just take it easy and ride it. I was like, done deal. I go, that's what I was thinking about, but I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be no, he goes, nah. He goes, I ain't worried about it. He goes, just make sure you just be careful and everything else. They care for me down here at the dealership, so that's a good thing. So rode it about 200 and something miles after the noise had started, and yeah, I figured, heck, the motor's already shot. What difference does it make at that point? As long as it doesn't blow up in between my legs, I'm fine. When I got it to the dealership, J&L service tech wanted me to start it up so you can hear it. As soon as I started it up, you can hear the metal just beating around in the top of the motor. He's like, okay, yep, shut it off. I shut it off. So yeah, but I'm hoping you'll get your bike back soon, even. You should get yours back before I get mine, that's for sure. But what do y'all want to talk about? Anything else? Hmm? I know, kind of dry. Haven't done too many actual lives on here, so it's kind of sort of newish to me still. Yeah, no kidding. You would think, Zen, that's for sure. But gave out a few bells during Sturgis. Won't mention no names of who got the bells. I handed out 4 bells. I think it was 4, yeah. Handed out 4 bells during Sturgis this year. Handed out 2 or 3 last year. So, but hopefully those bells are being used, and hopefully those people are People are getting good vibes off of those bells. I hope. They should, anyways. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it's still evil. Dan's right, though. They knew they needed to do that beforehand. They should have ordered it before. They should have had them ordered as they were starting the job, at least, even if they weren't ready for them just yet. That's for sure. But I mean, for me, as far as Harley's concerned, they've got to work better on customer care. Customer service on the bikes needs to be done a lot better. It's it was ironic how I even sat there and told the customer service guy when I had him on the phone that, yeah, I ride a trike, big deal, who cares? I go, funny how the biker community involves treats us more like family than Harley does. And he goes, whoa, what do you mean? I go, exactly what I said. I go, when was the last time you seen a Harley Davidson ad or anything involving a trike, much less a content creator invited to homecoming that rode a trike, or even an event held by Harley Davidson showing off the trikes? So there hasn't been one. And yeah, you guys, most expensive bike, and you guys don't want to even try to include us in anything? Yeah, another slap in the face to us. Ah, okay. Yeah, I'd have, yeah, I'd be rethinking about using. I guess you probably really don't have much of a choice of who you get to use or not use in your area, possibly, just like I don't. At least not yet, anyways. Once I'm medically retired, one of the things I'm going to probably end up doing is looking into having the VA pay for me to go to motorcycle school. That way I can actually learn how to work on the bikes myself. That ain't my thing. Hopefully they'll. Hopefully that'll work. I'll be able to do that. Might even build up a trailer to haul around with me. Do rally work, possibly even bike work during rallies and stuff for people that break down and stuff, so they don't necessarily have to go to the dealer to get certified work done. Because everybody knows going to freaking Black Hills Harley Davidson during the rally, even for an oil change, you're going to be there a day, all day long, easily. Which I think, isn't that what Crimson Glide does, Sam? Or Evil? Don't he do the traveling mechanical thing during rallies? Or did he actually decide to stick with or go to a dealer? I sort of forget. It's been a while since I've seen him on. But I do recommend everybody, though, that wants to come or is able to come to this Smoky Mountain Bike Rally, come on down. Help build it up a little bit. I mean, Maryville, from what I seen last year, they are actually welcoming the bikers for the most part, from what I can tell. And from what I can tell, Myrtle Beach is having issues with bikers. They're trying to get rid of the bikers off that rally altogether. From what I keep seeing every year, it seems like more and more issues come up with Myrtle Beach. And what's stupid, I think, Smoky Mountain, the group that's holding that rally or whatever, they need to change the weekends because it's the exact same weekend as Myrtle Beach. That's the biggest thing that I've got against it. Like, you guys want to build it up, change the weekends. Make sure it's not on another major rally weekend. Oh, wow. Okay. Dang, that sucks. Yeah. I'm gonna. When smoke. Well, then again, come back to if I get the bike or not back in time. How many arms and legs is going to cost you to get your bike back? Yeah. No kidding. Okay. But I mean, that's the biggest issue that I've got. Yeah, I don't see me having the bike back by then. I'll be surprised. They have it back to me in 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, I'll be surprised. For sure. I would be floored. Then again, their only way possible for them to probably have it done in that time is to give me a new motor. Okay. That'll make me happy. Give me a brand new motor with 0 miles on it? Heck yeah. Deal. Because then when I get down here, riding it down here, it'd be time to take it in to get serviced anyways. At least frame wise, anyways. So, I mean, yeah, Smoky Mountain, it was pretty decent last year, and the cops didn't bother nobody. From what I understand, nope, they didn't really harass anybody. They weren't even bad up on the tail at all, which I figured it being Raleigh, that they'd be up there heavily. Didn't hardly see any of them up there last year. That's not saying this year they'll be all over the place, but last year they didn't. It didn't sound like they had any issues at all downtown. Even they took one night, I think it was Wednesday night, and they shut down the main stretch there, where one of the bars that was one of the sponsors of the rally, and the city's closed off a couple of blocks. It went from a couple of blocks to the entire street within an hour's time frame. There's that many bikes that showed up. They weren't expecting that many people to show up downtown. So, because you had the main street was loaded with bikes, each one of the side streets, to include the parking lots, were filled with bikes. So there was a decent sized crowd there. Smoke out September 5th and 8th. Yeah. Yeah, so and according to the dealership, the cam was on back order until September 16th or 18th. One of them 2 days. So yeah, if I gotta wait on back order, that ain't gonna happen. And if it has to wait on back ordered parts on the original date, it's gonna be real iffy if I even make it to Smoky Mountain. I even get the bike back before Smoky Mountain Rally, which would suck because I actually want to ride by then. But hopefully they'll have it done before too long. I'm hoping. I do try to keep a positive attitude about. Hopefully they're getting something done. Because hopefully with all this negative publicity going on right now, that they'll be trying their best right now to make sure everybody that's got any issues happy. But anyhow, I suppose I'll let y'all go, get back to doing what y'all was doing. Thanks for hanging out with me, chit chatting. And hopefully you get your bike back able before too long. Hopefully you get it next week, I hope. That'd be great for you. So that way you can still make it to smoke out. And Zan, you be careful out there. Hopefully that track kit's still working pretty good for you. And Lonely Cowboy, stay safe out there if you're still watching. And Motobomb, thanks for swinging by and saying hello. And I'll catch y'all around, and maybe might do a better stream next time. I'm sure this one isn't all that great. Probably tacky as heck. But, that don't do too many of these. So we'll figure something out on that. But y'all take care. I'll catch y'all later. See you.